So now we're moments away from game number 1 from the lower bracket final. I think that's time for us to go into the bracket once again. How did these two players end up in the lower bracket semifinal? Sorry about that. So XlorD was defeated by Happy 0-2. That no surprise, I guess. That's what's happening for quite some time. He found himself in lower bracket round 1, and for XlorD, that's kind of rare to see. He defeated Juan in the rematch of the Meisterschaft semifinals 2-0 and got the comeuppance over Vortex with 2-1. We talked about this. DeMusliM also eliminating Van from the winner bracket 2-1, took a map off of Happy, and then killed Blade 2-0 in the mirror match.
Yeah, that was a surprising series to see yesterday. But DeMusliM in these bigger tournaments, he keeps on having some of these big runs, right? We talked about it yesterday in the Stay-at-Home Story Cup, where also he was surprisingly strong. But the one constant that is always there, that never seems to have a bad day, is Happy. It's going to be a story for later. We talked about DeMusliM having many different styles. Yesterday we saw tanks, we saw knights, we saw expansion all the way, and tier 3, but then certainly some deviation. With XlorD as well, that is the case. He's not going to be as predictable as Happy is, who's going to play standard all the time. XlorD was one of the first to really optimize the Crypt Lord. Recently, he has said that he likes playing this hero less and less. But I think that's matchup specific, right? In Undead Mirror, he's playing it less. Against Orc, he's playing it less. But I think against Human, we should still expect it quite a bit, shouldn't we?
I'm not sure, actually. Like, already against Hawk in DreamHack Summer, we saw him bring back the Death Knights back out, and it seems like he's been doing it less and less. I guess it maybe depends on certain maps. DeMusliM has looked really good against Death Knight, though, standard play, so maybe it's a good point you bring up. Maybe it's time to bring back out the Papa Roach, as you call him.
XlorD definitely capable of playing him. So here we go. Busy weekend for XlorD. Friday, ESL Meisterschaft, the 4th German championship for the Lord. And now can he claim the crown of Europe as well? It's going to be tough. It's going to be real tough to make that challenge. But yeah, there's no fallback net for any of the players here anymore. DeMusliM, can he repeat his Stay-at-Home Story Cup success? XlorD, can he make a deep international tournament run, the second one after the WGL European qualifiers? We'll see that on the first map. That is Northern Isles. So, in the bottom left, once again, in the white, the last remaining human player from the island, from the UK, it's DeMusliM. And his opponent in the upper right, XlorD 5-0 is the meme. He needs a great run today to make it into the grand final. In the upper right, it's XlorD.
Starting off with standard. Todd, seems like you were right. No Crypt Lord here, despite the fact that in this map, we saw him a lot in the past. There's a few things that go pretty well for the Crypt Lord here. The expansion is pretty easy to take. The creep route isn't too hard to do. And perhaps most importantly, there's no Mercamp on this map. Usually when you play Human against Crypt Lord, you really want to get level 3 and Mercs quickly to make sure you can match the strength of the level 2 Beetles will be coming soon. But XlorD says, no, not going to try that strat. He's going to play standard here. I know that he was studying the replays of Happy versus DeMusliM during the night, so maybe that's where he's going to draw his inspiration from. But as we said earlier, DeMusliM took a map there, and Happy did make some mistakes on this map specifically. On Happy's home turf map, Northern Isles, there were especially macro mistakes involved, like not enough statues, not having Disease Cloud, and a bit of army mispositioning as well, gave DeMusliM the victory there. And if you beat Happy on this map, I guess that must give you a lot of confidence, right?
Yeah, it's one of his best, rarely ever loses on it. Actually, it might be his very best map by far. But yeah, XlorD, like you said, he studied the replays, but I feel like it's very hard to find weaknesses in DeMusliM's play, because his overall goal and plan is to play very, very standard, but very well executed. So we see him creep the Tusker camp on the left side. Usually he'll eventually go into an expansion, which he places on the right side near the trees, so that he can wall off the peasants and they can be attacked. He gets the perfect right amount of towers, in my opinion. 1 or 2 arcane at the expo, and a good amount of guard towers. He gets masonry level 2 a lot of the time. unless you get ahead early on, I find it's very hard to be like, oh yeah, I'm going to do this one thing that's going to beat him. You just need to play super well yourself overall. And yeah, we already see that 4th farm, so it's going to be an expansion again.
Same game plan as yesterday. I like to see that once again. The Footman Scout putting in a little bit of damage. DK already at 60%. Gloves of Haste for XlorD. Not the perfect drop for sure. DeMusliM opening up with a Potion of Invulnerability.
He saved quite a bit of his mana here. Interesting. Normally most humans spawn 2 water elementals against the Tuskar camp. He only made 1, so he holds on to more mana points. That resulted in some peasants taking a bit more damage in the main, but I guess that should be fine. Acolyte Scout sees the movement over of the peasant. It's 7 of them, so DeMusliM is playing it safe. And XlorD is playing the standard creep route. He's going from green into green for level 2, then get new Red of Necromancy, and then Harass. But by that time, this creep spot should be entirely finished for DeMusliM.
Yeah, I think it's super strong that Undead started doing this thing where they get backpack, so they don't even need to run back home with the Death Knight. They can just bring a new Road of Necromancy and then go attack. After that, not the best items to start with here with the ring, but he does get a Claw +9 here, DeMusliM, so that's obviously super helpful. And look, he's going to do the thing with the peasants, and he sent one of the peasants that was getting injured because he did it with 7, so you don't want to build your expo with 7. Usually 5 or 6 will be the maximum.
Yeah, 7 way too expensive in power build. So here we go. This was the big strength of DeMusliM yesterday. We pointed this out, a little bit inspired by Blade. We have the bouncer on the top side here, making sure that the skeletons can't reach. And yesterday, I think in the entire best of 3, he lost like 3 peasants while building the town hall, which is even better than Blade was able to do it.
By the way, lightning shield against these peasants.
He was fishing for it. Just like in the Meisterschaft, he was also fishing for this lightning shield, and that is actually the perfect opportunity to use it into the back. There it is. Oh my god. Gets lucky with the item drop, but quick adjustment also by DeMusliM. These peasant losses matter a lot. 3 is kind of standard, less is good, more is not that great. So far though, wait, is it only 1 dying so far? 2?
I don't think so. And 3 with the coil. We have a tower down as well, but the DK, thanks to the claws +9, the Archmage has already down to 200. You don't want to risk too much. Yeah, you get some HP regeneration thanks to the Unholy Aura, but you really don't want to go back all the way for a Ritual Dagger and spend the resources there. So little time to breathe for DeMusliM.
Yeah, XlorD, actually he suicided his Acolyte in the top left at the lab, because he wanted to be on 25 out of 30 to start his second hero, but he ended up not prioritizing that. He got Slaughterhouse instead, and he's not getting Lich at all right now, just rushing for tier 3.
This is something we've been seeing from Happy a little bit as well in more than just one matchup. Getting the tier 3 and the Slaughterhouse first, and then the Lich. Which obviously means you're going to have Nova and just Lich right clicks later, but it's going to fasten up your tier 3 transition a little bit, perhaps give you your destroyers faster. Important tower cancel here. Does XlorD get it? He doesn't. And this seems to be just a very strong hold by DeMusliM.
I would agree. Todd, you taught me once the expo is up, we have to look into the base of DeMusliM and see how many lumber workers there are. And it's plenty. The tech has already started. The expo is saved. The tower, yes, a little bit delayed, but it was just 1 cancel, not 2. So even there, DeMusliM stabilizing, and defense is already finished as well.
Yeah, I like the amount of peasants on lumber, but his tech did start very late. It's almost as if he needed to make a few less peasants and tech a little bit earlier. Like DeMusliM recently, he won against Happy on ladder, and I saw that game, and when he teched, I think he only had like maybe 6 peasants or something on wood in the main base, so he teched way quicker than this. Like if you look at the tech of XlorD, it's a little bit scary how quickly he's going to be able to reach orb, destroyers and all of that, so this might be the plan, I don't know. Like in his games yesterday, DeMusliM made the right amount of towers. You see he always makes a line on the left side of his peasant line at the expo with guard towers, and usually one extra arcane. So this could be the plan for XlorD to just try and buzz this and take him out immediately.
Against Happy yesterday, we saw some really nice building placement at the expansion where there were, I believe it was blacksmith and shop in front to make sure the towers wouldn't die too easy. I think this time it's going to be harder to keep them alive, but it's going to be a thing for when the triple hero and orb are ready, which is, Todd, as you said, very close around the corner. Tier 3 finishes, and now the orb could be purchased. However, XlorD doesn't quite have the gold for it right away. That is kind of the downside with this super fast tech. Yeah, you get to tier 3 fast, but you don't have the 50 supply and all the gold for the triple hero and the orb right away. He still has to wait a little bit.
Lich is looking good already. We're talking a lot about super liches here. We got claws, we got gloves, and soon to have the orb.
He surrounds.
Oh, wow.
XlorD trying to get out. The first card was already there. It's going to be a TP. Wow. And this is what this achieves, this attack. He prevented XlorD from creeping, and now he forced the town portal out of him. So that's a big, big win here for DeMusliM. Oh my god, he's amazing against Undead, guys. I never thought I'd say this.
Maybe you should take some lessons from him. Some coaching lessons.
I would.
Players' forces are under attack.
It's gonna be level 3 here for XlorD, the big item, the big mana is always what you want. Nice thing also about this push is that DeMusliM is in position for the counter-attack already. XlorD will want to go to the enemy expansion, but DeMusliM can then push towards the Acolytes. However, with just a single destroyer, this is usually pretty easily held, so DeMusliM is trying to make XlorD stay back home, but XlorD realizes, well, buddy, what you're threatening here really isn't all that scary.
A player's forces are under
True, but what's the priority for XlorD now? He can't really attack the expansion with this. He still has to wait a little. He doesn't have the resources for the third hero at the moment. So how much damage can he really do? Destroyer upgrade is done, but this SimCity looks real good to me at the expansion for the Muslim. And XlorD, I think, saw that and is opting for the main base even.
Yeah, he just scouted the main base with a single skeleton, and he saw one arcane tower. He's like, okay, well, the floodgates are open, basically. I'm just gonna go there. Usually, he knows that castle tech will not be there yet, and that's when you can decide what you attack. Obviously, against one tower, you can sometimes even kill the tower and bust through, but if there was enough towers, he could just kill the altar as well and prevent Paladin from being made, or forced to be remade at the expo. It's gonna be so hard for DeMusliM to hold this with how late all of his tech was. Like with the Sanctum finally finishing, starting first breaker. But he shouldn't overextend either, and he didn't even prioritize getting a third hero. He just went to 50 supply with just the 2 heroes that he has.
Beautiful burrow here by XlorD. We're seeing it more and more from him. Yesterday we saw it against Happy, and here we see it again. And small mistake by DeMusliM, did not remember to buy a dust. The Fiend does go down. Wait, was there no coil? I thought there should have been one, but he's gonna get the return kill on the Mountain King. That is most likely the more important one. Destroyers take out the water elementals, and now the age-old human problem comes to show itself. You have to wait for your tier 3 tech to come in, but you're not quite ready, and suddenly this undead push is so scary even without a third hero. This is the style that Happy played at WGL when he went there the first time and won. Just Fiend, DK pressure with statues and destroyers, not even going for the Pit Lord bust. Just with piercing damage and a bit of magic, I suppose, he's gonna break through here. And when there's only one tower in the main, that seems to be doable.
Yeah, Focus Fire looks really good as well, with Lich, with Orb, with all the Fiends. Even the Breakers are melting. And this is something we mentioned in previous casts. Like, some Undeads are really stubborn, they see the expansion and they really want to break that no matter what, and they don't check for the main base. XlorD, a little smarter than your average Undead, realizing there is a weakness in the main base and punishing it hard.
Yeah. DeMusliM probably wishes he had made a whole lot more guard towers, but I guess if you play this style, you're not supposed to make that many. Maybe like one guard tower on top of the arcane in the main base, but yeah, now Web about to finish. You can't even really rely on those flying machines taking out the destroyers anymore, because they're just gonna get webbed and targeted. DeMusliM moving, he has to fight now, because if this altar dies, then there is no Pala, and the Pala is pretty close to finishing as well, but so many of his peasants in the main base are already low.
Oh, that altar. It's such a big deal. As you say, DeMusliM has to engage. He's got an invul to keep his AM safe. How about the Mountain King? He's healthy now. He's got one Strongbolt. Lots of destroyers, by the way. Don't see the webs coming out yet. Also, no A-bombs yet in the mix, but I imagine they should be coming soon. XlorD is going into upkeep, taking out more and more of these water elementals. 4 on the DK, since he doesn't have to split the experience with a third hero. That was pretty fast. Level 2 aura here helps tremendously. Certainly doesn't need Death Pact against such a weak Mountain King. And these gyros have to be very careful with how they engage.
Yeah, he needs the critical mass, especially against the Mass Destroyer. It's pretty old school what XlorD is playing here. Altar falls eventually, but of course the Paladin is out already. Lich in range of these peasants, so mining is diminished at the moment. Expo still safe, but no production buildings there. Main base still suffering. More and more gyros. How long does it take DeMusliM to build an army that he can fight with now?
Yeah, he doesn't really have the economy, that's the problem, because he had to buy staff and orb as well. Like, he would need XlorD to be like, oh, I've done enough damage, I'm gonna go creep. I mean, obviously that's never gonna happen. But you would need that to happen for him to be able to get to, you know, 60, 70 supply and be able to fight better against this army. He's gonna get the stuff at the last second, but I mean, that breaker is still exposed and gonna get sniped. And great build order by XlorD. This perfectly countered what DeMusliM was doing. He didn't even get a single upgrade on his Fiends. He's just like, I'm gonna make pure units and bust you and kill you.
Still pressuring into the main. Quick look at XlorD's main. He's got 2 Acolytes misclicked and they're not mining. This could be really problematic if this goes much later. I don't think it has been the case for a long time. I think this just happened a moment ago, but this might become costly. In the midst of all this heat, does he realize how low his income is? Easily something you can overlook in the heat of battle. When is that battle gonna come in? DeMusliM is waiting for more reinforcements, getting more gyros and more breakers. That's okay, but especially the knight numbers are just non-existent. Didn't have the cash, I guess.
Yeah, and you're also losing farms, so he can't rise up to 70 at the moment, has to rebuild them. But yeah, this is something that happened to XlorD in the Meisterschaft match against Wan already, and he still didn't fix the 5th one.
Yeah, he tapped back into his main. He saw, oh, that Acolyte is AFK, but didn't see the other one, so the camera positioning there a little unfortunate. Going now for a Dark Ranger 3rd. He knows he doesn't have to necessarily break the towers so much anymore. There's no towers in the main, and the Dark Ranger might be the better choice for actual fighting. XlorD creeps in the middle, gets the Lion Horn, which is very good, and has a massive experience.
Yeah, well, and supply as well. Oh, not massive, but yeah, he has a slight lead. I think it's very smart to pull back after all the damage that he did and say, okay, I'm just gonna get 2 middle camps and then I'm gonna get on top of you and just hunt you down around the map. Remember, XlorD doesn't have a town portal. It doesn't feel like he could overextend inside of the main base of DeMusliM, you know, and like finally lose a fight, but if he stayed there and spent a super long time killing the castle, then that means humans getting heroes 3 and 3 on the Mountain King and Pala. In the meantime, out on the map, maybe by creeping the center. So XlorD immediately took that away himself. And now, if I look at his army, I mean, it feels like DeMusliM would need 80 supply and heroes, or at least Mountain King and Pala level 3 in order to have a chance. And XlorD knows that's not possible because he took the 2 middle camps.
He finally got up to level 2 at least, so a little bit of an upgrade for DeMusliM for the next fight. But is he there yet? 66 supply it is against 64. Flag cannon has been researched once again. XlorD with lots of skeletons. Dark Rangers, of course, helping with that, wiping out the peasants one after the next web. Oh, that's a gyro for free right here. And nice scout by XlorD, sending the skeletons to the bottom right, seeing DeMusliM in, so coming in, so he can reposition and start the fight.
Fiend here eating the Stormbolt, but there's just no follow-up. These knights just get annihilated. The gyros come in. It seemed like they should be able to win the air fight. One of the wind on the AM, but so he couldn't use the staff, I guess. The paladin dies. Level 2 hero. Divine Shield didn't seem to be ready. Clap coming in. The gyros are doing their job, but the MK, he might be falling next. Doesn't have an invul. Never managed to get to the shop. He levels up to 3, but the long range coil connects, and it's MK and Pally both dying. Even if DeMusliM can hold here, that is no more experience for Mountain King and Paladin, and the Fiend focus fires, finding more and more kills. DK is almost level 5 here, Lich is 4.5, Dark Ranger about to get to 3, and that is the GG. And what Happy couldn't do yesterday, XlorD does here as he defeats DeMusliM on Northern Isles.
Yeah, Northern Isles once again back in the hands of the undead. XlorD with a very atypical play in today's meta, I think. That was old school, destroyer push, 2 heroes. Someone learned a lesson.
Yeah, I like what DeMusliM was doing, like the way he expanded. Obviously, facing Lightning Shield was very unfortunate, but then he got a surround on the other side of the map. He was preventing XlorD from creeping. It's just, if you try and play that style with less towers when your tech is this late, it's very, very hard to be able to pull it off if the undead chooses to siege at the perfect location, which was the main base. So kudos to XlorD. I think that burrow also helped him so much in the initial fight. Like, he was able to save everything. There was nothing to reveal for DeMusliM. He didn't have dust, which XlorD might have even known about. Just a masterful game here in game number 1.
Yeah, forgetting about the dust was definitely a clear mistake. And I know that DeMusliM likes not walling off his bases. I know that from his stream in many matchups. And I'm not sure it's the right decision. Like, especially in this matchup, there's also a big upside to it. You don't get your units stuck with the staff in the main. But when the undead wants to push you into your main base and you only have 1 arcane, it is made so much easier when there's no wall off. Had there been a farm wall off, this may have been a much easier hold for DeMusliM, but it seemed like he never goes for those.
Yeah, like, I think also, like, the timing was just so perfect by XlorD. At the end of the game, DeMusliM finally countered the destroyers. He had so many flying machines, which is always nice because you kill 4 destroyers, you take away, you know, their dispel, you also get a lot of experience for it. But he didn't even have neither Sundering Blades nor Magic Control, and he direly needed both of them. So it goes to show how crisp the timing by XlorD was to prevent DeMusliM from getting all of that. And despite that, DeMusliM still achieved, what was it, like 64 supply, and tried to put up a fight here at the end. I don't know how the Paladin died, by the way. He was level 2. And he wasn't silenced at the time, but he didn't use Divine Shield.
I think he was silenced, but it was kind of clutch. Maybe it was a little bit too late and the silence wore off, and okay, that thing is dead anyway. But yeah, I felt like XlorD was hitting his rhythm at the end very crisply. The execution at the very end with Wand of the Wind and Silence and Focus Fire was pretty much perfect. So DeMusliM has to step it up. He's facing elimination, and XlorD 1 map away from the lower bracket final against either Grubby or Happy. Grubby versus XlorD sounds pretty good to me as well. You guys are still absolutely fantastic. We are now at $3,536 for the prize pool. So we are $464 away from completely funding Season 3. Use the 2 minutes that you have here now. Go to Matcherino, click these buttons, and throw us some change. That helps a lot. So, we go into map number 2. It is Last Refuge. XlorD already pointing it out while we're still in the tail of the tape. Let's try with more acolytes now, he says. So he finally figured it out. And yeah, let's try with 5 acolytes. That sounds like a proper game plan to me.
I think he still doesn't realize that he had 2 AFK. I think he only knows that he had 1 AFK when it was in fact 2. A statement of strength how he was still able to win that game quite convincingly towards the end. It's just so hard when the undead gets up to close to 70 supply, strong heroes, big fiend army, and you don't have that 70 to 80 knight gyros yourself with decent heroes. Having a decent number of breakers is okay, but it's not really enough damage if you don't have the heroes to back it up. Knight production was never really allowed to come fully online because of that pressure into the main. DeMusliM this time is going to try to make sure his economy survives better and gets off to a better late game here. Most certainly, I imagine, with a fast expansion again.
Yeah, probably praying he gets a couple damage items. Like, there's been a few games before in this tournament where humans have gotten triple damage item, and that's so helpful when you go for an expansion, because you know that the undead's going to be pressuring with skeletons and all of that, so that will help a lot. I feel like when XlorD messes up with one of his acolytes, it should say in the top right, you know, like kinda low upkeep or no upkeep instead of just no upkeep, because obviously you're mining a little bit less. But I think especially if you're over 50 and you make that mistake, it's super costly.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think he learned his lesson now and will have an eye on it. We do have the perfect drops for DeMusliM. +9, also denying the Water Elemental here, so no easy kill for the DK, who rushes over across the entire map, not going for the High Priest at all, just trying to do some damage on that Archmage.
Yeah, I think that was botched early by XlorD. Normally you always want to start creeping first, but he engaged into the camp in such a way that one of his skeletons was ensnared. Not what you want. And it wasn't really a forced error by the footman. It was just kind of XlorD messing that one up. And then since you can't creep it like that, you have to be aggressive. Which perhaps is a blessing in disguise, because now DeMusliM definitely isn't off to the start that he wants. Has to wait for his level 2 here for quite a while. XlorD is trying to get the Merc camp involved, but that only really works well if you have a Wand of Illusion. He's gonna try to wake up some other camps, but yeah, DeMusliM is still not level 2, and that definitely is annoying.
Yeah, he forced Bloodlust already on the expansion creep. Finally, level 2 is gonna be rich for DeMusliM. And again, good items. Getting that Claw plus Metal is very nice. Like the first Fiend, actually, that's getting across the map is carrying a Rod of Necromancy, so XlorD, it really feels like he's decided to go for these very specific builds that he thinks are going to give him a good chance against somebody like DeMusliM, who's in a way kind of predictable because he expands every game. It's always going to be like the same SimCity, everything. Look, skeletons in the main base. DeMusliM's not paying attention. He's losing peasants.
Ooh, that's not supposed to happen. And the DK gets another steal here. That's level 2 for him without creeping a single camp. And a lot of harassment potential here, of course, with the new Rod of Necromancy, as you mentioned. So, how much damage did this do?
I think a decent amount. Most notably, I think the best thing here is the AM's experience. He's still far away from 3. If XlorD can stick around here for the entire time until he gets to Lich and statues, this should make for a really strong mid-game for XlorD. If you have to hold on against undead 4D supply and later on tier 3 with only level 2 AM, that's a big problem.
Okay, the peasants.
Still trying to work on some of these peasants here. The more he can get, the better, because since he kills some in the main base, like this is some peasants that DeMusliM has to send from the main base to the expo. So he's really, by doing that, delaying his wood economy and delaying his tech. I don't think it's too bad though. Like I think if DeMusliM wanted to start tech now, when he finally has the gold, he could definitely do that. And compared to last game, it still would be a little bit earlier. I think last game, like tier 3 of Undead was like almost halfway through done. It was super late for human.
XlorD is on the way to tier 3, and once again the base is not walled off. There's still herd peasants, and that's an easy kill right there. And in 10 seconds we have 2 new skeletons. So XlorD not focusing on his side of the map at all, just spending time close to DeMusliM.
Yeah, I like this, especially if you can prevent level 3 AM. This is the dream, but as we can see now, he is gonna get it. One more skeleton, and he's finally reached that level 3 and level 2 watch elementals, which is desperately needed. He is gonna get one skeleton, right? Yeah, okay, he's got this around there. Okay, thank goodness. That's the level 3 now, finally, and the tech starting. But still no arcane in the main. And XlorD, you know, whenever he's got an opportunity to be obnoxious, hell yeah, he's gonna take that.
Yeah, not just in game either. Damn, these peasants completely trapped. What is this? They created a cage for themselves. And no arcane tower in the main base means that DeMusliM still suffering. DeMuslim's wood is in shambles this game. He almost like completely should go for a shredder, I think.
Ooh, another peasant falling, another one hurt. Of course, XlorD knows about this. Lich is coming with a new Rod of Necromancy, so he can just keep up the pressure or take camps away, maybe.
Like the early burrow here once again. XlorD has been incorporating that well more and more. Could have even gotten it a little bit earlier, but we don't want to be too critical. Some of these footmen here are hurt already, but the AM from one side, the foot is from another, pressuring these fiends now. While there are no statues yet, this damage is certainly noticeable, but the first statue will be coming in a bit, and that's when things really become difficult for DeMusliM. Once Undead gets to 40 supply, and then more and more upgrades, more and more tier 3, more and more heroes potentially, DeMusliM has to make sure he's got his defenses lined up.
Yeah, more peasants are dying in the main base. XlorD is doing so much damage. The Coin Nova on the Archmage, you know, it might seem useless if you don't kill him, but I think he realized that with the wood of DeMusliM being so bad, he's struggling to make everything that he needs right now. He's struggling to make enough towers. He's struggling to make a shop, which he hadn't even started. It's not only now going up at the expo, and XlorD is already tier 3.
It's absolutely crazy. It feels like DeMusliM is completely overwhelmed. It started very early already with that skeleton harass where he was losing peasants, and then it just spiraled out of control. This is a different game than DeMusliM yesterday versus Happy. This is not too competitive in comparison, of course. XlorD now stepping on the brake a little, focusing on creeps, but DeMusliM scouting this, and the Oakham Magi is back to the camp. Maybe the Brit is able to steal this.
Also dangerous for the footman though. This Lich has plenty of Nova, and there's Orb now available. Use it on the creep to secure the last hit. That's level 3. And the big mana potion. Yeah. Hallelujah. It's a lot of footmen, by the way. What is that, like 8? Normally I like to see high footman numbers, but now that tier 3 has been reached, it's hard to get good value out of them anymore, especially once we have destroyers, which soon will be coming. Destroyer form upgrade is lined up. However, XlorD forgot about the 4th Ziggurat, so it's going to be supply blocked here for quite some time.
Yeah, it seems like DeMusliM's wood is really like the big problem this game. He got so many peasants now finally on the wood at the expo, but the fact that they weren't mining in the first place because they kept dying inside the main base was the big problem. And XlorD, yeah, might be just going for the same timing on the main base. There is 2 towers on the way, but one of them is not near in completion, and he hasn't even started a Sanctum here this time around. DeMusliM's trying to get towers, but I don't know if they will finish on time. And because he has so little wood, by the way, he's getting improved lumber harvesting, meaning that he's not getting masonry level 2. He only got the level 1 right now.
Yeah, and then the towers feel like they are made out of paper. Should be an easy breach for XlorD. Level 2, and here's the first destroyer. The Ziggurat is finished. 43 supply immediately. He has the gold for a third hero. Oh, had the gold for a third hero. So yeah, he's just playing the Northern Isles tactic once again. Dual hero, 2 destroyers, and the footman. I don't want to be in their shoes right now.
Yeah, they're just melting right now. This is the strength of destroyers right here that humans have been feeling the pain of for many, many years. The answer to this is supposed to be gyros. Are they coming? How many do we have? There's not even a workshop yet, so these destroyers just rain completely for free. And again, there's no dust. There's no reveal from gyros, and there's no reveal from dust of appearance. The creep cap is triggered, but creeping the lab with 2 destroyers is also super easy. However, XlorD doesn't want to creep right now. He's going towards the towers, takes one out right away.
He has so many cards, that's the thing. And he managed his mana so well, like he just didn't use a card unless it was absolutely necessary. So now, gets on top of his towers. DeMusliM, he has so much gold. This is the worst feeling, like if he would lose the game now with like 1700 gold. So he's trying to buy time for these towers to complete. Ideally, he'd be able to finally grab that Paladin, start going into flying machines. You don't need like the most solid hold against this, you just need to stay alive. And that's what DeMusliM's looking to try and do right now.
These burrows again, dude. The value is getting out of these burrows, how he's partly outplaying DeMusliM with them. And now it's only 2 heroes left for Demu, trying to save this main, trying to buy time for more towers. There's a decent amount of damage on these destroyers, but as you said, there's just so many coils from this DK.
1000 gold as well for DeMusliM. How to spend them? Maybe on a Paladin, but same situation as on Northern Isles. The altar under attack, and how to engage into this now. He's super nice for XlorD to be here. He's not facing too many towers, and yeah, what to do if you're DeMusliM now?
He's getting a staff and orb, which is the right choice, but the towers are dying too fast in the main base, and then he's gonna have to take on this army head on. Water elementals are completely useless, and he's just gonna tap out. XlorD with a very solid 2-0 victory.
ToD, seeing this, is it kind of a relief that you didn't play XlorD on Friday?
I mean, this is just like another day at the office. This is all my games look like. So, yeah, I'm like, this is normal. The anomaly is when DeMusliM wins a game or like beats an undead.
That was absolutely crazy yesterday, indeed. He couldn't repeat his top 3 run as he did at the Stay-at-Home Story Cup, where he was eliminated by Spiral. Once again, it's the German kicking him out, but second top 4 performance for DeMusliM, and that was pretty damn impressive. And we get XlorD on the line already. Damn, that's pretty damn quick. Is he in the Discord as well already, Remo? Ah,
should be coming.
So yeah, he's coming. Wonderful.
He says he needs a second, which we shall give him. Certainly has deserved that with his victory here. Great performance by XlorD. So far has only been beaten by Happy, just like it was at DreamHack Summer, fighting his way here through the lower bracket. Something we didn't have at DreamHack. So now he is already improving on that performance, where it was a top 8 for him. Now it's a top 3 at the very least, which is $200 guaranteed, and more to come in the higher ranks.
It's kind of crazy that Happy and XlorD met in round 1 of the upper bracket. Like, this easily could have been the finals and might be even.
Yeah,
as grubby as you say about it, of course.
We are graced by the presence of the Lord. Danny, a great performance today, man. That looked like child's play. Did it feel easy for you as well? Can you hear us?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Okay, wonderful. Just said congratulations, great performance, as we are used to when you're playing against human. Did it feel a little too easy today?
Actually, I saw the games yesterday against Happy, and I also played a few games against DeMusliM on ladder, and I always played strictly the same as Happy did with Hitler third and then creep a little bit more and so on. And I saw the weakness in his play yesterday. So I saw that when Happy had 2 statues and Destroyer upgrade already done, and he had only 1 Arcane Tower in the main. So I exploited that he played a lot greedier. And yeah, that's basically just the counter to it, I guess.
Yeah, seemed to be working out well, especially on map 1, map 2. You didn't break so easily his main, but managed to still. And yeah, still DK Fiends all the way. Nowadays, you told us before you don't like the Cryptlord so much anymore in certain matchups. Is that also the case for the matchup against Human? Is it all back to standard, or is that still map specific? Do you still prefer Cryptlord on some maps?
It's possible on some maps, but yeah, overall, right now, yeah, I feel like Cryptlord is got worse after the last patch, and I feel like the Beetles are like paper right now, and also in Undead Mirror, it's, in my opinion, really easy to win against it on the standard maps, except for Echo Isles and Tarina Stand, of course. But yeah, I think I dropped him for now, at least.
Okay.
I'm curious about Northern Isle because, like, he expanded, you know, decently. Obviously, there was the lightning shield and some damage dealt at the expo, but then he went on the other side of the map and forced the town portal out of you. Did you think you were maybe going to be in a lot of trouble after that happened, or were you still confident that your timing on his main base was going to work?
Yeah, it's always shitty to lose a town portal, especially if you town portal like 5 meters only, and you have no benefit of it. But yeah, I think it's better than losing the Lich and giving more XP to the Archmage. Yeah, I felt like, okay, he might also get the Ogre Magi and get the item as well, but he did not. And yeah, I managed to push him when he was on the other side of the map in front of my base. And then he realized I have 1 statue there and 1 destroyer, and he wants to shit there, and I have to go back. And I think that's the moment where he kind of fucked up a little bit, being a little bit out of place. And yeah.
And you have to play against Grubby or Happy next, the loser of their match. How do you feel about playing either of them? Like, you had some very competitive games with Happy in the past, and then it seems like as of late he's doing quite a bit better when you guys meet, even though I saw you beat him early on the stream today. And then, so if you had to play against Grubby, how do you think it will go as well?
First of all, against Happy, it's always tough. But I feel like he's not on point in the last few days. I think he's also a little bit sick or something, because he canceled some streams here and there. And yeah, but overall, he's really on point with his micro and with targeting the right units. And meanwhile, microing is really unbelievable what he's capable of. Yeah, I know what to expect from Happy, of course, but I don't know what to expect from Grubby, to be honest. I played him only really few times on ladder, and that's it. Yeah, I don't know. I hope I won't face any FSTC Spirit Walker Torrents shit or something like that, but we will see.
Well, no, you just said it, so you're gonna face it for sure if you face it.
Maybe I did it on purpose.
Okay.
The double mind tricks, man. I like
Hello,
that.
Manuel.
Would you be satisfied with the top 3 finish, or is your, like, would you only be satisfied to make a top 2 or all the way?
To be honest with you, I was already happy that I had $50 save, and basically this tournament I'm just playing for fun. I did not practice too much, only a few games, and I just try to enjoy the game as much as I can. And I think that's the right way to do it, maybe, for this tournament. And yeah, I did expect nothing. I mean, I had 300 mirrors. Everything could happen there. Now I had DeMusliM and next probably Orc. But yeah, I'm just having fun with the game right now.
All right, then I hope you have fun watching Happy versus Grubby as well. Thank you very much for your time, and good luck next.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, guys, that was match number 1 of for today. DeMusliM unfortunately eliminated XlorD in the top 3. He will be facing Grubby or Happy, and that is next.